All right, welcome once again. You're welcome, you're welcome to my live today, where I will be dwelling more on the nursing job you've never had, the nursing job that you've never heard about. What are those nursing jobs that you've never heard about? But before we dwell into the details of the video, if you are joining this live for the first time, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you will be the first to receive my video whenever I post it. My returning subscriber, thank you. Before we begin the lives proper, do well to share these lives so that others aspiring nurses could benefit from the discussion today. Without wasting much of the time, now let's dwell into the video. So what prompted this type of topic is, in my last live of Restream, where I talk about convincing the younger generations to study nursing. Now this time around, a lot of these aspiring individuals that wanted to study nursing are also not aware of what other nursing job can they do. Does nurses only work bedside or in the hospital? So let me just say that there are a lot of nurses out there that are not working in the hospital. Yes, it is quite obvious that a lot of nurses does not work in the hospital. There are some that work in various organizations, and they are performing the nursing duties, they are performing the nursing jobs. So it doesn't really matter if you are a nurse, whether you work in the hospital or not. The good thing is you are a registered nurse. Where you work is where you can work is so diverse, is uncountable, is limitless. You can work anywhere, you can work in a lot of places. You can decide to work here, with this and that and this. There are a lot of places you can work aside the hospital, aside being a bedside nurse in the hospital. And so this should not be a discouragement for you not to study nursing, and not to encourage someone, the younger generation, the aspiring nurses, to come into nursing profession, because there is an adage that says the sky is your limit. This time around, in fact, beyond sky is your limit. Beyond sky is your limit. You qualified as a registered nurse, you can work in a lot of places aside in the hospital. So I'll be talking about nursing jobs that are outside the hospital, nursing jobs outside of the hospital, the nursing jobs outside of the hospital. What are those jobs that you can do that are outside the hospital? So this is also a form of an encouragement to an aspiring nurses to study nursing. To the nurses, already qualified nurses and midwives, this is a form of means for you to encourage the younger generations to study nursing, especially in Africa. The way the nursing is, that is not, we can't say it's yielding financial freedom. So this doesn't mean that we will not encourage the younger generation to come into nursing profession. They should come into nursing profession. A lot of the senior professional colleagues are going to retire. They are going into retirement, and so if the older ones are shifting toward retirement and getting retired, then there is need for the upcoming registered nurses to take over those spaces, those positions. And if we didn't encourage the younger ones to study nursing merely by reasons, in-house disharmony that we have, or in-house issues that we have, then the nursing profession might go into extinction. So what I'm saying is, let's please encourage the younger ones to study nursing. Let's encourage those new grads to study nursing. Let's encourage our family and friends to study nursing, so that we can maintain the culture of nursing all across the globe. So please encourage that younger generations to study nursing. Let them study nursing. Allow them, your children, your daughter, your family members to study nursing. We couldn't say, because of the issues that we have, especially here in Africa, especially in Nigeria, where the verifications of certificates of license, the verification of license has been put on hold for several months now. So we can't say because of that we are not going to encourage the younger ones to study nursing. So today's videos are those 10 jobs. There are those 10 jobs outside of the hospital, because I got these questions from the younger generations, or from group of people, of why would they even study nursing. They don't like working in the hospital. They don't like, some even say they don't like hospital environment. So but what I'm now going to do today is to encourage you to study that nursing. If you study nursing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you must work in the hospital. There are a lot of other places that you could work in. You could work in a lot of places. You could become a lot of other nursing specialty. So I'll be dwelling one after the other of those places that you can work in. So number one on my list here is, you could work as an aesthetic nurse. You could work as an aesthetic nurse. Who are the aesthetic nurse? Where do they work? And how is the nature of their jobs like? And how their pay is like? The answer to that question is, firstly, the aesthetic nurse work, they work in the surgeons. They work in concomitant, in support with the surgeons, with the plastic surgeons. They works in doctors' offices. Aesthetic nurse, they works in doctor offices. They work with dermatologists. When from the word aesthetics means beauty. So these are group of patients that that seeks aesthetics, beauty, extra, just the patients wants beautifications of their physical outlook. So there are specialist type of nurses that work as an aesthetic nurse. So they work in doctors' offices, they work with surgeons, they work with dermatologists. So these aesthetic nurses are working, and their mode of work is definitely outside of the hospital. This is not hospital because they don't admit those chronic, they don't admit, cases, and you see this and that blood flowing and all the likes that you don't like, that this is what discourage you, seeing blood to study nursing. So this is what discourage you to study nursing. You don't want to see blood, you don't want to see person, helplessly, you don't want to see person gasping, breathless. So aesthetic nursing, you might consider working as an aesthetic nurse. These are the professional nurse that work with surgeon, they work outside of the hospital, they work with dermatologists and so on. And they are not working as per hospital. They are not, their work is outside of the hospital. So you might consider doing this. So you should come into the nursing profession if you are scared of, you don't want to work in the hospital, because I'm telling you, you can become an aesthetic nurse and you could earn higher. You could even earn higher than those that work in the hospital. The pay is very high. The pay is very high. I must be sincere with you, especially in the developed world like United Kingdom, United States of America, those European countries, so they pay more higher. So you should come into the nursing profession. You can do it. You can come into the nursing profession, not to work in the hospital. You can become an aesthetic nurse. And secondly on my list here is flight nursing. Flight nursing. From the word, from the look of the words, flight nursing. So these are nurses that work on the plane, though actually they may have a base that is hospital, but their work majorly is on the plane, working on the aeroplane, helicopters and the likes. They work in the air, they perform their duty, on the air, in the air. So flight nursing also pays. It pays. So if you have been thinking that the nursing role is only lies in the hospital, I'm now telling you the fact now, no, you can still work. There are a lot of other places you could work, such as flight nursing, that could even pay you higher in nursing. So study nursing, enroll for nursing, obtain the form now. And for already qualified registered nurses and midwife, advance yourself. If you are also thinking of switching to another aspect of nursing job aside hospital, so you could consider becoming a flight nurse, which also pays higher. And if this is what you even want to become, to work on the plane as a flight, as a flight nurse, as a flight nursing professionals, so study nursing. Do quite alright. This flight may have an hospital, but their staffs as registered nurses mostly work in the aeroplane on the flight. So you can become a nurse, you can study nursing to work as a flight nurse. This is what we are now saying. It is not in the hospital setting. Also, you could work as legal nurse consultants. These are nurses that also advance their career and study law, and they could work as legal nurse consultants. In fact, a lot of nurses are lawyers, so you could also work as a lawyer, and meanwhile you are a nurse. And you see, you could help the hospital with the rules, the regulations, the formulation of ethics, and so on and so forth for the hospital. Now you are a legal nurse consultant and you are working as a nurse, but this time around you are not working bedside directly with the patient. You are just working as a legal nurse consultant that you help the hospital, form rules, regulations, doing some paperwork to the hospital that serve as legal purpose or legal backings to the hospital. And this also pays. This pays higher and higher and higher. So this pays legal nurse consultants. Then we have occupational nurse. You can study nursing to become an occupational nurse. So these occupational nurse deals with hazards. Even though you might be working in the hospital, meanwhile majority of the occupational nurse professionals their settings might be outside of the hospital. So they they may be working in the hospital and they may not even be working in the hospital. Even if they are working in the hospital, they are not working directly with the patients. They deal with the staffs. And if there is any form of occupational hazard, occupational injury, so these occupational nurses are the ones that are in charge of taking care of the staffs, nurse or professionals that are working in the hospital directly with the patients and take care of them. The occupational nurse might also formulate some policies to the hospital that is going to be guiding them on how they can prevent more of occupational hazard. Occupational nurse also conduct sensitization programs. They conduct form of enlightenment educations to the professional nurse in order for them to be made aware of how they can prevent occupational hazard or occupational issues or occupational injuries during the course of their work. So you could see occupational nurse is not working directly with the patients. They deal with the nurses, and they also deal with the hospital, and their settings might not even be in the hospital. You are the types that you don't want to see blood, you might consider becoming an occupational nurse. Then we also have research nurse. A research nurse is also paying. In fact, research nurse, majority of them doesn't run shift patterns. They doesn't run night. They may be working in the hospital, they may be working in public health places, they may be working in an NG with an NGOs, they may be working in another organizations. This research nursing pays higher and they're not dealing with the patient directly. They may be doing one or two form of computations, statistics, compilation of research data and the likes. So research nurse might also be an option for you if you study nursing. Are you the types that loves conducting research or assisting in doing the research? So you can become a research nurse after you have study nursing. So study nursing, even if you are the types that you don't actually like, don't actually like the hospital environment, so you should study nursing. Perhaps the zeal, the likes towards hospital environment could develop from time to time during the course of your practice. So encourage such individual that is been saying that because he or she doesn't want to see blood, doesn't like hospital environment, doesn't want to work in the hospital, and so he or she is not going to study nursing. The person is totally wrong. If you study nursing, you can work outside the hospital, such as becoming a research nurse. And the next is public health nurse. Public health nurse. From the word, it implies you're working with the public. You are conducting health talks, health educations, you are even going to the patient homes to meet them, to check on them, to conduct you meet group of people at their comfort zones to conduct health educations, to enlighten them. So public health nurse You are not working in the hospital, you work in out as an outreach. You work outside of the hospital as a public health nurse. Your roles is not limited to the hospital environment alone. So you work outside of the hospital and you conduct health talk, health educations to group of people out there. So you might consider, study nursing to become a public health nurse, for you to serve the public at their home. You might want to go and meet a group of patients or a group of certain type of clients, and this pays way more higher as well. So also you could want to you may want to become a nurse informatics, where you could be gathering data. You need computer knowledge skills, where you could be assisting in the gathering data and the likes. So you could work as nurse informatics. To work as nurse informatics. Then another on my list is cruise ship nurse. In fact, cruise ship nurse, these are the type of nurses that work on the ships. Their schedules is good. In fact, some cruise based on my research, they work 4 months on the ships and have 2 months off. You work 4 months on the ships and have 2 months off. So cruise ship nurse is another fantastic nursing job that you could do if you study nursing, or if you are already registered nurses, or if you are already a registered midwife. You could work as cruise ship nurse. Then also you could work as telemedicine nurse, where you could be doing form of telecommunications work, phoning patients, telling them about pre-surgery advice, giving post-surgical educations, calling. You do the same thing as what is being done in the hospital, but this time around you are out of the hospital. You are giving communications, health talk, explanations to the patient. Use the telecommunication means by phoning patient, mailing. This telemedicine nurse pays higher, way more higher than even those that work in the hospital. So you could consider becoming a telemedicine nurse. So at this juncture, these are the nursing jobs that you can do as a registered nurse. These are as a registered nurse that you could do, that can even pay you more higher, and you are not working in the hospital this time around. So you can consider the options. You can think of studying nursing. You should think of encouraging someone into nursing profession. You are already registered nurses and midwives. You are not encouraging the younger ones to come and study nursing. We don't want to burn out. We don't want to get burned out with work overload. The work that 5 people supposed to do, 5 nurses supposed to do, the work that 6 nurses supposed to do, it is only 2 people that are doing it. And you are not encouraging the younger ones to come into the professions. So how are we going to get out of this burnout stuff? So what we are saying is, a lot of nurses can actually work in other places aside the hospital. In fact, if a lot of nurses work in other settings, with other nursing jobs, this is going to relieve the pressures of those nurses that work in the hospitals. A lot of nurses are supposed to be on the flights, other places, and they're now being, everybody are now coming to the hospital. At the end of the day, the hospital is going to be overwhelmed. The nurses will work overtired. They will be burned out. So we are encouraging others to work in other nursing jobs, so that working in the other nursing jobs is going to fetch them higher pay, even as higher than those that work in the hospital. And this is what I consider sharing. Have you encouraged someone to study nursing? Your family and friends, your children, you are the nurses that say my children are never going to study nursing. Let me tell you, I studied nursing without even me seeking no permissions from my parents. I chose to study nursing. So you can as well not decide for your children, but you can guide them, and don't discourage them whenever they say they want to do nursing. There are lot more to study nursing. There are lot more for becoming a nurse. It pays. It pays. Forget the fact that in some region of the world, such as in Africa, nursing does not pay so much. But in the developed world, where a lot of nurses are thriving, nursing pays. And so don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you could be the first to receive my video whenever I post it. Share my video. Invite your friends and your colleagues to subscribe to my YouTube channel. To subscribe to my YouTube channel. At least this is what you could do for me that can boost my morale in producing more of the content of this. Thank you so much, and I see you in the next video in my life. Don't forget, give this video a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. Like my video, share, comment in the comment box. What other nursing job do you think you can do that is outside hospital? And I see you in the next video. Bye.